Hi, this is the Weird Christian, and I always talk about truth. And I'm talking to other people about it, and there is a big, excuse me, there's a big, it's a big thing in today's world where people say, I have my truth and you have your truth. To me, that is a redefining of the word truth. Or the truth. I mean, you can have, I feel cold. That is what a person feels about, and it's their truth that they feel cold, okay? But let's say the room is 68 degrees, whatever. One person feels cold, I feel cold. That person feels warm, I feel warm. And that it's not a truth, they're just talking about basically how they feel, their opinion. That's not a truth. The truth is something that's universal, not personal. I mean, in a sense, if it's personal to everybody, but that's a truth. If it's personal to everybody, if it's universal, then it's a truth. Okay, so this is a thing that people have a hard time thinking about. And I think it's important to understand these words. Usually we just assume these words, what they mean, and then we use them, or misuse them in all sorts of ways. And I think in order to have a productive conversation for these basic, fundamental ideas, you have to have a clear understanding of them. Or else you're just talking by each other. You're not really talking and communicating to another person. So, on Google, when they did truth, it had a definition. I thought it was okay, but it wasn't as good. I think it's really important to get a good definition of truth. And Wikipedia, I thought, had a pretty good definition of truth. And it also had an introduction, an idea that was kind of counter to truth in its truth statement, what truth is. And and there is a problem with that in people's understanding. And I think I'll address it here. In Wikipedia, they say truth or veridity is the property of being in accordance with fact or reality. In everyday language, it is typically ascribed to things that aim to represent reality or otherwise correspond to it. Now, then it suddenly says something else, such as beliefs, propositions, and declarative sentences. Now, if an authority makes a declarative sentence or proclamation, it doesn't mean that it's declaring truth. So here is a thing where it's, in a sense, in the definition, actually gaslighting itself. So, and you notice in the first picture when you look at this thing, it's Jesus and Pilate. Basically, they're saying, Pilate goes to Jesus and he says, what is truth? And Jesus doesn't really answer, except when he talks about himself, he says, I am the truth, the way, and the life. But he doesn't really give an answer. But I think it's very important to have an answer. What is truth? And I like to use the part it says with fact or reality. I like to further define what fact and reality are. A verifiable fact or reality. I want to further define it. And I do that in my definition of truth. And I wrote it, that truth is found by searching with these three premises. Is it consistent? Is it eternal? Is it omnipresent? If the subject or object discussed or observed has these three properties, then it can be assumed that one knows the truth on the issue. Sorry, I went outside and I got a little bit cold air in my lungs. Anyway, if something is observed or reasoned that does not conform to these properties, then the understanding of truth needs to be updated. These premises of truth cause the conclusion that truth is universal and not a personal, finite thing. Personal truth is an oxymoron. So, and I'm having a discussion with a person in Facebook on truth. And people think that truth is to confirm their bias, their opinion. If you accept their bias and opinion, then you're accepting truth. But they're not using these premises. In fact, they don't like these premises of being consistent. And what does it mean to be eternal? Eternal in the biblical sense, and I think the proper sense, is about ages. And an age, or all the ages, have a definable quality to them. So you could have an age without creation, where there is just we can call it God, or the I don't know, we call it God. So you can have the age of God without oh man, that cold air really got my lungs. Without any creation. Or you can have the age of creation, or you can have the age of enlightenment. These are all, or the age of Renaissance, or the modern age, or the post-industrial age, or the pre-industrial age, or the industrial age. They have a definable quality. And time is not, it's just, somebody might define the Renaissance as this time in Italy, but in another location, it might be a different time in France and a different kind of Renaissance. So each age has a quality, a definable quality to it. It's not defined by time or space, but it can happen in any time and space, depending on what the quality of, or the definition of that age is. Okay. Anyway, that's another story. But I think it's fundamental in understanding what truth is to use these things like, is it consistent? Is it eternal? Is it everywhere? Omnipresent. So, and that's how they use science. That's how they figure out that stars 300 million light years away have this much hydrogen and this much iron, or whatever it's in composition of the helium, whatever composition of the star is. And that's how they figure out how they use truth to figure out, as I mentioned here, these qualities, to figure out how far away it is, how fast it's traveling, all these kind of things for something very distant. And they can use truth to find out what's happening close to us. So these are important things. Now, okay, and what is a fact? This is another thing that people have a hard time understanding. Now, I just got fact there. But a fact is a knowledge or information based on real occurrences. An account based on fact, a blur of fact and fantasy. Well, I don't know why they even talk like that. Something demonstrated to exist or known to have existed. A real occurrence, an event. And here in the Wikipedia, a fact is a true datum about one or more aspects of a circumstance. Standard reference works are often used to check facts. Scientific facts are verified by repeatable, confirmed observation or measurement, by experiments or by other means. Generally speaking, facts are independent of belief, knowledge, and opinion. Facts are different from inferences, theories, values, and objects. So, what it's saying that everybody can observe a fact, but you can make differences. You can make different theories from the same facts. You can have different ideas from it, like inferences from the same facts. And the thing is, for a judge, he takes testimonies of everybody's observations of something, but they're saying it through their inferences and values, and maybe even from the lack of memory or whatever. And he has to try to actually determine what the fact of really happened at an incident, whatever incident that is, by listening to testimonies. Because everybody throws in theories and influences and values and all these kind of things into describing a fact, and rather than saying the light was green from this time to that time, or the sun was in my eyes, or all these things they will say from their own point of view. But it's important. But you can sometimes, after you get a bunch of people testifying, you can sometimes get an idea of what the fact was, what actually happened. Okay, so, and then they use this example. For example, this sentence contains words, accurately describes a linguistic fact. And the sun is a star, describes an astronomical fact. Further, Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of the United States. It can be found through documents and so forth that is a historical fact. And Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. This through documents and grave and all sorts of stuff, testimonies can be are both historical facts. So facts are not the same as a theory or an inference or an object. I find that some people want people just to consider what they say as fact when they're just want people to confirm their bias, not actually confirm what happened, or so forth. So I just wanted to say this. I just wanted to present this so that people can think about it, because a lot of people, we just assume a lot of things, and we're just talking by each other. We're not really talking to each other. We're not really communicating. So it's very important to actually be able to communicate. To me, a person has to actually, in order to actually have any good conversation, productive conversation. I mean, you can have conversation, but is it going to be productive? In order to be productive, people have to be searching for the same goal in their communication. Like you want to maybe, to me, a productive conversation is a conversation searching for truth as I defined it. And essentially how it's defined in the dictionary, except I like to be more concise and precise than sometimes they define things in dictionaries. Sometimes they because of different histories and usage of the word, words become muddled in their definition, because people want to muddle the definition in their rhetoric. So anyway, I just thought I'd present this because it's not understood enough, apparently. You talk to people, well, this is what truth is. And they say, well, I don't think that's truth. Well, okay, I guess that's where you're at. Like I was even talking to my wife too. She says, well, I have my truth and you have your truth. Well, that's not truth. But she says, oh, you're just talking down to me or whatever. Well, okay, but that's not really. I'm just saying this. So it's something that you have to establish to actually have good communication. in a sense. I'm not saying I have good communication with my wife, but anyway, but we try. And communication is a point of trying, and it's not as easy as people think it is. I mean, we can say something, but is anybody really listening? Anyway, God bless, and may you learn new things every day, and I think if you use truth, you can actually have a rock of understanding rather than a relative understanding that can move all over the place. It has no certainty in it. So use truth, as I think, is the best way. And Jesus says, I am the truth, the way, and the life. There's a reason for that. And I think the definition I give actually is a quality of God. He is consistent. He is eternal. He is omnipresent. So anyway, God bless. May you know God, and may his face shine upon you. Amen.